Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. I am the hard worker in the relationship, the breadwinner, and I have just found out my wife cheated. Advice. I am 31 and so is my wife. We have been married for 10 years and we have 2 children together. 5, 11. I recently found out that she cheated on me with a 21-year-old. He was the one that confessed to me. I work for a tree company and need to be out of town for 4 to 5 days a week. On top of that, at the start of this year my dad passed down the rights of a small restaurant to me and my wife. One day I hired this young guy to work for me at the restaurant. I didn't notice or see anything suspicious at first, but I slowly started to catch on that he might be talking to my wife behind my back. One day I grabbed my wife's cell phone and she instantly grabbed it back. I told her to let me see it if she wasn't hiding anything. She took a couple seconds on her phone, then gave it to me, but I saw she had deleted her Snapchat app. I asked why and she claimed I made fun of her whenever she took pictures. I never did so. This was the first red flag. Then on 4th of July we closed up the restaurant and invited every employee to the lake. At the lake I saw my wife go up to the restroom and a couple minutes later the young man I had hired followed. I went up to see and saw that they were talking. I asked her why he came up here to talk to her and she said that he simply asked her a couple questions about his hours. This was the second red flag. Mind you, my 2 daughters had just been taken to Mexico for the summer and to get some load off our shoulders. So fast forward 2 months and a couple more red flags along the way. The 21-year-old comes up and confesses that he had been having an affair with my wife for months now. He was drunk when telling me. He proceeded to give me details on how they had gotten a hotel room a couple of times and they would even kiss in the restaurant behind everyone's back. He even showed me some proof. I then proceeded to confront my wife and she stayed quiet. She then started lying, saying she did start talking to him, but the only reason she went to the hotels was because he threatened to tell me if she didn't. I tried to believe that, but I gave the young man a call and he told me she went willingly and even provided proof. Now I feel betrayed. My own wife of 10 years, doing this right under my nose, and I knew it, I just couldn't prove it. Every day I would see him clock in just to find out he was doing these things with my wife. Our 2 daughters, our house, our relationship, the hard work I have put in to support my family. I am devastated, hurt, and I think I want to divorce her and take the kids. What should I do? Fire him, get a lawyer and divorce her. It's a tough decision. I've been with her for a long time. It is not tough for her to duck another dude. She didn't think about the 10 years. Also, if it is not a problem for you if she duck or cheats on you, then don't do the divorce. I don't want to be with someone who lied and cheated on me, especially right in front of my face. But it's hard because she was my best friend and my first love and the mother of my children. And she falsely accused another guy of blackmailing her. Is this the sort of woman you want to be married to? I open her right there up. Yeah, that part cracked me up. They'll try anything when the push comes to shove, wouldn't they? Worst of all, the betrayed spouse is inclined to believe it. That's truly the hardest thing to wrap your head around when you discover the love of your life has been cheating on you. The sad fact is, that person no longer exists and will never truly reappear. She would have gladly continued to cheat with this guy if he hadn't confessed. And there certainly are a number of other 21-year-old guys who would love to take his place. I'm really sorry this happened to you. It's happened to most of us on this subreddit, and though it's fresh and very painful, please know that you will get through this and will be stronger for it. Lawyer up. Protect your assets. Make sure the restaurant is in your name. Be a good father. Your wife has little respect for you, and the woman you once loved sadly no longer exists. Good luck and be strong. It's truly heartbreaking. I actually feel really embarrassed because a lot of people look up to me. All of my family, friends and employees have the utmost respect for me. I'm so embarrassed I don't want it to become public and have peers look at me differently. Divorce her and take the kids. And fire him. He got fired. I'm just crushed that it happened all under my eyes. Look. You know your options, everybody here is just giving you their opinion. I haven't been in a relationship as long as you have, so I definitely won't see it through the same lens you do. All I know is that, taking the same context and applying it to my situation, I would be done. There's no way I'd be able to look at her and feel the same again after that, and it would be beyond anything a counselor could say or do. Your co-worker told you, not your wife. If it was up to her, she would be up for the charade. Hell, she even tried to in the face of evidence. Do you want to spend the rest of your life with that? That's the thing that hurts me the most. If he never told me, I would have never found out. That's probably why I didn't get physical with him, but still I do not want to see him ever again. I would at least kick her out. If she says no, tell her that you will show everyone she knows what she did, starting with her parents and then your kids. Find someone to replace her at the restaurant. Try your best to go North Carolina for a while so you can recover. Talk to a lawyer and remove 50% of any money in the joint account and freeze any savings so she can't withdraw it. She does a lot for the restaurant, which is tough. She does all the inventory, all the payrolls, the time schedules, and even works when someone calls out. But it's not fair she cheated on me while doing this. I'd what to do, who do I replace her with? If she does the payroll, I would check to make sure she hasn't given this guy a raise and stuff like that. I wouldn't let her handle the financial side at least, but I'd fire her as well, or wait till your divorce and do it. Do you have cameras in the restaurant? I would have them just to let her know that you're watching what is going on. But then it is a little bit late. Yeah, it might be too late for that. When they realize the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Advice. Hello everyone. F33 has been separated from my ex-husband M34 for 8 months now. We've been married for 9 years and have a 3-year-old son. Long story short, I was in an emotionally abusive relationship for years, pretty much scared of my spouse for a major part of the marriage. Caught him cheating on me through texts and hotel receipts. I decided to try to work on things, but he got caught again and I moved out with my son. Fast forward 8 months later and I am actually really happy. A lot of tears, but a lot of growth as well. I took the time to focus on myself and find out what I really wanted, while my ex focused on trying to hook up with different women. It was so bad that word even got back to me about his antics in the workplace, because I have friends that also work there. But honestly, I've been over it. Found a lawyer and we've even signed the papers. I am just happy that I am not with him anymore and I can live a life in peace, hopefully. He's obviously realized the grass isn't always greener on the other side, and almost every 2 weeks asks if we can get back together. I've tried explaining how much he hurt me, how I've had to hear all this stuff about him, how I am not even the same person anymore, and how I can be at peace with him as my co-parent now. But that's it. I'll just be so unhappy if I was married to him, but he doesn't get it. He will say okay, I see your point, and stop, but 2 weeks later it will be hey, can we please talk? I don't know what to say to him anymore. How do I get through to him and make him stop? I know a couple and it was the exact same thing. He was so bummed out when he realized that now he was responsible for everything in his life. He called his wife and no fun nag. She wanted him to not keep putting them in debt and wanted him to do some basic chores. She has so much money now that he's gone. He pays her nothing. He just spent like a fool, and he's living in a shit 1-bedroom apartment that is permanently filthy because he doesn't like cleaning. He's going to respond poorly to you not wanting to get back together because he wants to have his cake and eat it too. So be ready for him to be unhappy. That's on him. You need to just keep batting it back and say if it's related to the child or their care we can talk. There is nothing to discuss about our former relationship, it's done. Then hang up or leave. He will keep trying because he needs his bang made back. He doesn't love you, he loves what you do for him. No more discussions, it's over. Edited because it's changed. Nag to Zulu. unsure what autocorrect was doing. No words will ever get through to him. Which is where the power of grey rock comes in. Grey rocks him. Ignore any conversations not about children. Don't keep having the same argument over and over with him. That isn't productive. Just discuss children only. Completely control the situation or walk away/ignore it. It's not about the kids. Just stop responding to anything about talking about you two. Keep conversations about son to minimum and maybe on one of those apps the courts encourage. One thing though, why were you scared of him? Does he have the potential for violence? Will he escalate if you ignore him? Was never violent physically but definitely got angry when he didn't get his way. That is what I was afraid of. Angry when they don't get their way is dangerous. In my opinion. How is custody working? Do you drop off, or does he pick up? Is there a way to minimize your interactions with him, or is it already pretty minimal? I would ignore him when he wants to talk about the two of you. But that may anger him too. I would not engage in any conversation about anything other than your son. Tell him that. In front of someone else if possible. Seems like around the 8-month mark is when they start to feel the change and realize what a piece of they are. My ex came back after 8 months to beg for reconciliation. So we did. And now we're split again after 6 months. Thankfully not married and no kids, so it's an easy enough split. Wondering if he'll come back around this time again, as he also sends random messages every so often. I've never initiated contact with him, despite wanting to so badly. Difference between us and them is we respect them even if they treated us so poorly, so we appreciate the space. They don't respect us and don't. I love happy endings no matter how much sadness is involved in the beginning. No is a sufficient response as is no response. Either one or both applied repeatedly enough will work. Tell him you're sorry it took this for him to realize what he had, but after what he has done you realize you deserve better. Yeah, nah, no thanks. Been there and done that. Explain to him, explicitly, that you are not friends nor are you romantic partners. You are co-parents. Therefore, the only conversation should be related to the logistics of childcare, and any attempts to talk about your personal life, his personal life, or reconciliation will result in you requesting contact solely through a third-party app like our family wizard. I'm going to be blunt, so I hope I don't get banned. You had to endure a lot of pain and suffering to get to a point where you can focus on yourself and co-parent amicably. I think it would be very naive of you to throw it away so soon. He will always be a part of your life as you have a child together, and for the moment leave it at that. Use this opportunity to reset and reevaluate what you want and where you want to be with your relationships, etc. If in the future you were to reconnect, so be it, but at the moment it's just a possibility. Good luck and all the best to you and your son. He should be focusing his energies on building a good relationship with his son as little as your son. Maybe he had to experience a life-changing situation. Folded hands. Feeling mixed about this. Need support. 10 years marriage, 2 children, wife had emotional affair for about a week and was seeing this person from time to time but is sure it never got physical. So been 3 years after D-Day, and more recently got to discuss, this year, been tough emotionally and getting to this point was hard. She hasn't done a polygraph yet, to know if she will, although she is willing. If I can I guess I'll make it happen. So she admitted to an emotional affair and cried in my arms when she admitted to me, made me think more happened. Anyway, nowadays I feel mixed, like one day I'll feel closer to her and then I guess after some triggers or just thought patterns I tend to not want to be close to her or intimate. I sometimes think of her in a sexual manner with AP, it's making me resent her and I do my best to be nice. I don't give attitude like she would, I remain pleasant for the most part. She can tell when I'm off and I think she reacts to it in a certain way, like becoming a little distance herself or maybe just giving me space because I may be giving off a negative vibe. It's sorta haunting, like the unknown bothering me. I keep feeling like she was physical, even a kiss, but she surely denies it, and she isn't a very good liar. What gets me is the part of the story that she can't remember a convo. Don't expect it to be word for word, but to say she flat out don't know what she was discussing with AP for 2 hours in person and 45 on the phone. She just remembers telling him they can't call each other anymore. I don't know how to feel about all this. I tried making her watch an infidelity video and she had an episode and cried for some time because both men in the video insisted on knowing everything. After this happened, I consoled her and made sure she was okay. So days pass and all she talks about is the kids and their schooling and teachers and how they're doing every day and so on, but nothing pertaining to us. It's like I can't keep bringing it up, but she really wants to move on with it. It's not so easy for me. I'd love to move on in my thoughts so I can have a healthy relationship. I feel she has broken the sanctity of our marriage, and so at times I just don't see her the same. Still don't trust her. Liars lie, and cheaters lie. Most will watch the house burn with everyone in it before they will tell you the truth. Some will never tell the truth. She won't, because she doesn't want to hurt you. Still will lie and tell you her lie story. Do the lie detector. They usually hold out until you get a parking lot confession. But you still do the test. Do it, get it over with. Save your sanity and do it. So you are in this situation for 3 years, right? What have both of you done to work through her affair? What has she done to win your trust back? Do you know her AP? Is he cut out of her life? What has she told you for why she had this affair? How did they get to know each other? Who started the affair and who ended it? First, I'm sorry that you're here. No EA is established in a week. They take time to manifest, often months. From the initial meeting and casual conversation, eventually, the conversations become more personal and in-depth. Over time they turn romantic in nature, even sexual. This takes more than a few days. What you have to keep in mind is that she made these conscious decisions and acted upon them. This was not a mistake on her part. She chose to do this to you and your marriage. You are not in the reconciliation phase. In fact, you seem to be stuck in an extended rug sweeping phase. You need to understand that this woman is no longer the woman you married. Your wife is a more accomplished liar than you think she is, so don't waste the time or money on a polygraph. Like locks only stop honest people, polygraphs only catch honest people in lies. If she believes her own lies, then to her, she isn't lying. She pulled the wool over your eyes for a very long time. Get over it. She cried in your arms when she was caught to garner sympathy from you, not out of guilt for her actions, and sadly, you fell for it. Her breaking down during the infidelity video should speak volumes to you. This situation is much worse than you currently believe it is. You need to stop consoling and coddling her. She cheated, she lied, she destroyed the trust you had for her, and she betrayed you and your marriage. This is solely on her to fix. She should be begging you for forgiveness and doing whatever you need to heal, not the other way around. What you should do now is take a step back, look at what you do know, and decide if you want to spend the rest of your life not being able to trust the woman you're with. Good luck to you, friend. Thanks. I don't know, I feel thoughts of getting sexual may have occurred but maybe not manifested. I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure that they did something. The 2 hours that they were together, unless there's some way they couldn't possibly do, even if it was mutual masturbation. To me, her not telling you this stuff says that it was physical, and she just can't admit it because you'll leave her if she did. She obviously knows what she said. She's trickling you, but I would have got to STDs test if you could. How old are the children? She may be a bad liar, but she only needs to be a good one when it really matters. Sounds like it's been rug swept. 6 and 10. Some view an EA as a PA that hasn't had the chance to get physical yet. There are 3 reasons for no physicality. Distance. You need to be in the same physical space. She fails here. She was in his house. Opportunity. They need to be alone. She didn't take anyone with her. Insufficient desire. The EA has not had enough time to erode the boundaries sufficiently. EAs typically start with a fantasy, to escape real or imagined problems in the relationship. AP is someone that generally is new in their life or rediscovered and they are attracted to, have a crush on. They begin really slowly and snowball over a number of weeks. Sex is almost transactional, the wayward trades sex to ensure that the great feelings and endorphins of their honeyed words keeps being supplied. They take time to establish, to destroy the current relationship over weeks of displacing the betrayed, then finally become physical. They are a destructive fantasy, the perfect partner that can do no wrong as long as they stay out of touch with true reality. PAs also start with an attraction, but it is more based on an infatuation. It is typified by a wayward with poor boundary controls seeing someone they covet. They are quick burners and live very much in the here and now space. Think ONS or really short affairs. Your wife's actions as described do not seem consistent with an EA. There is something wrong with this picture. Either it is an EA and the timeline is way off, or it's a short-term infatuation with all the things that go with this. No way, it is an EA that just lasted a week. Error 404, this does not compute. Most cheaters wouldn't recognize that they are in an EA after just a week. At this stage they should be at most just friends. Have you read Not Just Friends by Shirley Glass? It will help. Never read that book, but I may just do that. She only saw him 4 times in life. What gets me is when he came to do cleanup and grass around my house. My wife called me to meet him, he couldn't look me in the face, and that was major red flag. I think also reviewing security footage, they were technically non-verbal flirtation, looks and smiles. She is very friendly but not like this. You could sense the tension from a mile between them, and his body language towards her and being in her space were all red flags to me, and that was the first time actually realizing that something is going on. From the confession 3 years ago and choice to cut him off to now, her story is more or less the same. I really don't think she would be able to make it get sexual and come back to me the next day. I think it may have reached kissing, or at the very least expressing to each other. Not being able to account for that last day is what is killing me, because she's a horrible liar. She would rather not remember. It was more so the convo that she doesn't not the actions. She remains adamant it was not physical, but I'm sure thought was put into that. Not that this matters much, but App has a GF and kids. She'd rather go for someone single? Maybe, but APS GF told me she would bet her life they had sex because he is a serial cheater. She say he wouldn't waste his time with her if they weren't having sex. I think it's unusual to intro me to him for one. I feel at that point nothing happened, or maybe but that last night I could swear my daughter was with her. Dain't rem either. What his GF said combined with his not looking you in the face is worrisome. A serial cheater is always on and flirtation is a habit. He should not be in avoidance when meeting you, but instead should be playing to the crowds. You're wayward, that he is your equal or superior in a nice way. A PA is defined by covetousness. They want what they want and will take from someone else to get it if required. In the here and now, he has a family, doesn't matter, they aren't present or here at the moment. Their last interaction is critical, and the reason she won't tell you about it is because you won't like it. The language she uses to describe AP is telling. An EAP tends to be described with words and phrases like soulmate, perfect and he just gets me etc. PAP will be described by their physical characteristics. Please take this with a health warning because it's over the internet, but you have described a fledgling PA, not an EA. You think it got physical? Horrible to ask that, as you really don't know, but I do know myself. That is down to speculation. What is certain is that she is demonstrating guilt over something. It seems way out of proportion for a 4-day crush that went nowhere. That's pretty much exactly how I feel. She said it was just the fact that she would go as far as to even like someone else, or without saying it, consider him over me, or maybe decided not to when it came down to being physical. Something does not add up, that's for sure. We are married for 7 years at the time, 10 years now. She does not describe him as attractive. She got attracted due to him taking off his shirt, but to me she said although that happened it was never sexual. Her words, No kissing or touching. He asked for a goodbye hug, and according to her it was a shoulder hug. Due to the fact she usually has my child with her, I wouldn't think anything physical would happen then. She also said she went inside to use bathroom, either her or my daughter, and the house was dirty and trashy and just her style. The guy's supposedly recently got out of jail and describing his life to her, and most of her convos is him telling her his life. She said she really just liked the attention, but when she realized it couldn't go anywhere she stopped it. I know my wife to be a talker, she is friendly and sociable, so it's weird that she told him nothing about her life. Nothing about me, just the guy doing all the talking. Seems weird because they spent maybe up to 3 hours a day and she would always be fixing something, and again she only knew him for 4 days over the span of a week. I had texted him from her phone and I don't know if he caught on, but I got a response from him but nothing happened. I almost feel it's a little rehearsed, not accounting for the last day is what is troubling me, and she didn't answer when I was calling her at that moment. She also said he never flirted with her verbally, it was really just the way he would look at her. I don't believe two grown people that supposedly like each other on a basis with that type of tension not do anything. Even after me meeting him, she went over there 2 more times. Do know what got fixed, if anything, that last time? She can't remember the 2-hour conversation because she was too busy having end of relationship sex and needed the 45 minutes of the phone to tell AP that it really was over. That's kinda how I feel, like it makes no sense to me, but hey, without all the details it may sound pretty bad, and it is, but I don't know about the sex part. It may have happened or not. I'm really just giving it some time for myself. It's putting my work behind and I'd rather not have it affect the rest of my life, but best believe we will talk about this again, and it may not be nice in all honesty. I think what you stated above is what happened, but again I have no way of confirming, and at the time it was happening I looked for signs of power, but she is either really good at hiding it or she didn't go that far. No extra showering, unless it's at his place or some. I do know. It's also embarrassing if I have to see this person around town. Where did this 2-hour conversation take place? I find it very hard to believe that she was running off to be with him first thing in the morning and they didn't kiss and duck. There must have been some sort of trigger to get her to stop the affair and confess to you after a week of the seduction dance. My guess is that it was a physical trigger that suddenly made it too real for her. Get the polygraph. This 2 hours happened at his place. She would go there to fix stuff like radiator, AC and lawnmower. He was getting paid until he refused payment on mower since he wasn't sure it was fixed. She would like going there with our daughter, most times. That last time I can't recall if my daughter was there, and she confirmed she wasn't. That 2 hours according to her was them talking with a lot of silence in between, no kissing or touching of any kind. She calls it a crush now, but when it happened and she confessed to me, she considered it cheating emotionally, which it felt that way. I met the guy, he couldn't look me in the face. When they just met was to fix the radiator, and she told me where she was going and everything. I had to work at the time. Maybe from first day she got the hots for him by him taking his shirt off. That was the story. You don't know what to believe. Part of me believes her. I know the EA didn't go beyond a week. In fact, she never saw him every day, but she did have a liking for him, which she admitted to me. At the time when it was happening, I was considering divorce, but she confessed before I got to it, so I decided to give things another try, but I guess feelings of distrust was there. Get the polygraph. She's doing all the wrong things, and you're allowing it to happen and enabling her behavior. She's currently rug sweeping and using emotional manipulation to ensure you allow it to continue. Flat out, you have to disconnect from her. She knows she can get emotional and you'll just jump in to reassure her and make her feel better. You, the victim, are making her feel good about her manipulation and rug sweeping. You are training her to be rewarded for bad behavior. You need the 180. Look it up. You need to let her feel bad and cry without swooping in to save her and make it all better. If she cries, let her. Leave the room and let her cry. Let her do her manipulating bullshit all by herself. Here is what will happen. She will get mad at you. She will get pissed that she can't manipulate you anymore. If she's a remorseful cheater, she'll come around to seeking the help she needs, and start healing you as well. If she is unremorseful, she will continue to get mad, and ramp up her blame shifting. Not only will she blame you for the affair, but also blame you for not repairing the marriage, and not being compassionate to her in her time of need. It's all about selfishness. You are going to have to make bold action. Nothing will get better or heal while she rug sweeps and you allow it. You are currently, with your actions, digging a deeper grave to bury your marriage in, a marriage she destroyed and refuses to repair. So do as you will, but if you stay on this track, you're prolonging the suffering, and most likely just delaying the inevitable divorce. Maybe I'll see if this works, 180, but I'll give her some time and myself really. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.